I've bought it. What we're going to fix in this video, Island, this is the witness of this fierce battle in history. One of the most famous bolt-action rifles. It's a bar called Call from the German company Mauser. Of course, we are also more accustomed to it. I prefer to call it K-bar, as a classic of fierce battles. Back then, almost every German soldier had one. And judging from the style of the paper handle he robbed, is this really the K98 we know? Isn't it G98? So who is the most skilled in the video? Foreign craftsmen who are currently engaged in disassembling work, reserve to wage. In addition to repairing it perfectly, we also need to consider this infantry version of the 98 Kelvins. Carry out a sporty modification. The so-called sports modification. It's just the general standard rifle. Transform it into something more portable, more accurate. Firearms that are more suitable for civilian, hunting, and sport shooting. The renovation here. Reform was particularly common after World War II. After all, it was left over from the battlefield. A K98 Kelvins that has been retired. There are a huge number of rifles such as Mauser gun and so on, pile up like a mountain. Compared to buying a proper series of boxes, for many ordinary people, set up a second-hand stall is the most cost-effective to carry out a sports transformation. After finishing the disassembling work at home and the rusted metal parts, put it in boiling hot water. Boil it for about 20 minutes. The purpose of this step is to remove rust. The red-brown rust that was originally covering the surface layer, iron oxide. There will be changes in the oxide layer in boiling water. It has turned into black iron oxide. And since the boiling time is not very long, the black color just transformed on this layer is iron oxide. It's not reliable. Factor, you can use steel wool or a brush later. Let's remove it easily. In this way, we can achieve the purpose of rust removal. Moreover, if the soaking and boiling time is too long and repeated several times, in this case, we will get a stable layer on the surface of the parts, a sturdy black oxide protective film. And this also belongs to one of the bluing techniques. Her name is Mauser. So the inside of the gun barrel is also cleaned. After that, get a healthier state. Although this thing is zero, there are still some corrosion marks on the item to a greater or lesser extent, but overall it's still quite good. After the rust removal is completed, now we need to focus on the gun part. Fill in the combination hole position and use silk to blow out good silk. Prepare for the subsequent installation of the optical sighting agent. Now, we need to carry out chamfering and testing again. So the handling of this hole position is fine now. This is a big surprise. For these messy parts on the outside of the gun barrel, we will use the method of polishing and finishing to deal with it. Next, we will talk about the gun skills that are suspected of having parts fall off. We will use a neutral rust remover to remove rust. Clean up. In this battered gun stock, Toguo, who is not a carpenter, there is no good way to deal with it. I might as well throw it away and replace it with a more attractive one. So what about this? Togo is not going to saw off this paper handle for him, but after cutting off a part of it, bend it again. Therefore, it becomes a curved handle, just like this. The reason why we want to turn paper and pen into a curved handle island is just for the subsequent installation of the optical scanner. It won't block. You can operate the gun smoothly. As for the piece that is missing after being cut and broken apart, we will do it after ensuring good heat insulation protection. Carry out welding and filling. In fact, the paper and pen here also show it very well. This gun is not a 98 Kelvins. Upon closer inspection, he didn't actually enter the bar, but it's a transitional model between them, color targeting type. As for the year, we also need to adjust it forward. This is a product from the period between 1933 and 1935. Moreover, the box was designed in 1924, 1933, full of vitality and charm. So it's also called 1924 model or 1933 model. Now that we've dealt with the curved handle, we will paint some blue indicators on the machine hero below. Then insert the liquid into the gun and test it. And the main purpose of this step island is just to test the interaction between the gun mechanism and the machine hero. Wherever there are places where the color is not smooth, due to these areas, I will apply some abrasive paste to grind it. Now let's move on to the next part. Brother 2O is going to prepare some battery green shells here, and hydrochloric acid with a concentration of 33%. Put them together, it will generate something with a certain degree of corruption, corrosive zinc chloride solution and some hydrogen. Then simply filter out the impurities. Only the clear zinc chloride solution is left. The shrimp has been soaked in ammonia water. It mainly plays the role of regulating weakness and assisting oxidation. Then give the parts. Spray this kind of degreaser on it. After cleaning it up, then apply what we just talked about, the prepared chemical solution. So the potion that we've been messing with for so long, in fact, is just a rust generator. Apply them evenly on the surface of the parts. You can quickly generate a layer. Red-brown rust. What's the situation here? How can I clean the rust stains thoroughly? This has made it rusty again. Actually, what does Brother 2O want to do here? We've already mentioned it at the beginning. That is Mannix's blue protection process. But this time, it's not for rust removal, but it's to generate a uniform surface for the parts. A dense black oxide protective film. This is what we call repeated soaking for 3 times. The moisturizing effect is still quite good, isn't it? So, as one of the bluing processes, of course, the last step is to apply a layer of oil film to achieve better protection performance. Another point is that after each soaking and boiling, we all need to get through it. The method of gentle persuasion, let's polish off those loose oxide layers. So what? Only in this way can we achieve a better black 4-sided effect. The way we deal with these small parts, they're all pretty much the same. It belongs to a set of standard procedures. That is, first use a neutral rust remover to remove rust. After that, then carry out cold bluing protection through the bluing treatment solution. In the end, let's do the soft film and oil film treatment again. After dealing with these small parts, now let's take a look at this is a crossbar reinforcement bolt. As the name suggests, its function is to enhance the new gun, the steel core of the rod, but I want to install it. We also need to find a corresponding hole for the gun. Besides, in addition to that, as a new stock, the cooperation between various components as originally designed, there are still some problems. We need to make some minor improvements. The gift is a bit obstructed here. We need to use an electric grinder to sand down some parts of the gun stock. And the most important thing is the combination of the gun barrel and the strength. We can see that the cooperation here is quite close-knit. I can't even fit a piece of paper in here. But actually, it's still acceptable if it's the infantry version. But it's not right to use it as a sniper rifle. The reason for wanting to keep the gap of a piece of paper island, there are mainly 3 considerations. First of all, the rifle after shooting. The barrel of the gun will quickly heat up and slightly expand. If the gun barrel is tightly pressed against the wooden holder, then when it expands, it will squeeze the wooden pallet, leading to uneven heating. If it's serious, it might even affect the trajectory. Secondly, the firing of bullets. It will also cause a slight vibration in the gun barrel. This is similar to a ghost messenger in Chinese folklore. If this vibration has been hindered, it's possible to lead to the exit angle of each bullet is different. Therefore, the progress has been slowed down. In the end, due to such a shock, he is predictable. Belong to some shooting experts. It's about predicting these slight tremors to improve the accuracy of shooting. So this is the technique of leaving a gap like this. It is also called a freely floating barrel by everyone. After a brief understanding, I'll get back to you later. We can be very clear about it. Every move Togo makes, drill holes and polish the gun screw, is to give these a digital enhancement of adhesion specifically for firearms. In addition, I also use clay to fill in some parts of the machine hero. Avoid accidental injuries from resin. And to make demolding easier, we also applied a mold release agent to the barrel part of the gun. As for sticking a piece of tape on the gun barrel earlier, it's just to connect the gun barrel and the gun stock. Keep a gap open. This company is polishing the rough edges of the dry data. So this very useful free-floating system, barrel craftsmanship, I've just dealt with it. Next, we will enter the final assembly process. In fact, for the assembly of the whole gun, it can be said that playing 8 Heroes is very easy. After all, as a standard assault rifle, he has been reliable on the battlefield from the very beginning. It was designed based on the concept that soldiers learn quickly. The whole thing adopts a demonic structure. Gunshot Hero, the parts such as the gun stock are relatively independent. Relying solely on a small number of screws and fixings, you can assemble it with a screwdriver. Of course, there will be some difficulties too. After all, we've made the corresponding modifications for sports. Like here, when installing the scope base, we need to work hard to achieve it. We've already used 2 with tops for attracting customers here. Sharp professional calibration rod. Come to calibrate the coaxiality of the 2 bases before and after. He will use this grinding stick next. Then, use a grinding paste to polish the inner wall of the ring. Carry out grinding. If you come from the front, you can avoid the seedling tools after the design. A slow displacement due to recoil. At the same time, it can also prevent the irregularity of the ring seating. The local compression deformation brought about. When all the preparations are done, you can install the seedling tools now. Of course, this process also requires great caution. Be careful of the connection of the 4 bolts on the front and back sides. Need to be on top. I'll finish it with the help of the next 2 level gauges. After all, not everyone has the ability to synthesize light like that. I can easily handle the gun made by Peninsula Tianzuo after the seedlings have been installed in place. So this game, the once abandoned 1933 standard color rifle, it has been officially repaired and renovated. Now, let's follow. Togo went to a legal shooting range abroad. Let's check it out. This is the result of our work. And one more thing is that part of the flight. It has also been changed to a double class flight by Brother 2O. The double trigger here doesn't mean double firing, but it's a shooting game that improves the design feel. The trigger located at the rear is a pre-engaged trigger, and the front trigger is a normal trigger. First, pull the trigger of the rear gun, then continue to pull the trigger of the front gun. In this way, we can boldly reduce the number of pre-flights. The required fastening force is like entering a precision design mode. So that's all for this episode of our learning videos. Thank you for watching. If you like Wodagon's Double Five, then I'll say goodbye to everyone. Once again, everyone came to Max's debut area to say goodbye.